gonna sing like Bob Dylan, keep it on lowest and double stuff. Oreos. And the summer's about to end. Unfortunately, not really. I mean, it's really technically ends on September 22nd when it goes into fall. But for me and a lot of other people, summer's about to end. I start work next week, and it's been a great summer. And I just wanted to have a summer show to kind of go into the things that made our summer grand. And I'm not alone. I got two wonderful people. One person you might be familiar with because she was on the previous podcast of mine. Her name is Vanessa from the Monday Cinema Club. And I got a new person, Nanyale from Reine Savage Media. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Oh man, and these like I gave you guys a brief introduction, but can you tell the people something about yourself, some of your interests, and so on and so forth? Vanessa, what's going on? What you got?
I like a whole bunch of things. I like music, film, shows, nature, animals, makeup, art, a lot of things.
Yes, and you're coming all the way from the grand state of Tennessee. Well, what's Tennessee's slogan? Or what's the state?
Yeah, they're the volunteer state.
The volunteer state, right? Okay. And you also you love huskies. You're a husky mom, right?
Yep, I have 5.
Right. And also, I don't know if I even mentioned it, but you're part of the Monday Cinema Club, which is Dante Bosco's Instagram show. You've been up there as far, and I also been up there, and it's been a great time. So
it's so fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Nanyale, can you tell the folks about yourself? Tell folks what you got going on.
So, I, of course, work in a high school. So, aside from the various hats I do wear in here, I also run a robotics program within the school. So, cool. I do enjoy, of course, robotics, technology, anime, music, makeup, and a various group of other things, honestly.
Cool. And you guys, this is the first time you guys are meeting today, so that's awesome. Mm-hmm. This summer, it doesn't necessarily have to be a theatrical release, but like, yeah, was there any movies that you've seen this summer that you really enjoyed that you want to talk about? Start off with Nanyale.
So I'll say that I really managed to get into Death Note. Death Note was one of the biggest ones, and Persona 5. So Death Note, needless to say, doesn't have much of an explanation, but it comes with this cursed notebook that magically falls into the Earth realm, and a human manages to pick it up, and whoever writes in it dies at the soonest within 6 days.
Okay.
Or even 6 minutes, rather. But with Persona 5, there's a group of teens that pretty much battles the inwards of the public's heart, because some of them would have an ugly heart, but it also causes them to change their ways and atone for what they've done.
And 2 of those are animes, and I'm familiar with Death Note because they made a Death Note live action thing on Netflix, which wasn't really received well. Are you familiar with those, Vanessa? 2 of those animes? Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, I also did watch Death Note, the anime. I didn't watch the live action version. But I know what you're talking about. I remember when the live action came out on Netflix. You know what? I actually did watch it, and okay. I fell asleep. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that can tell you a lot about, my overall opinion of the live action. But yeah, the anime was really good. I remember it came out, I think when I was still in high school, and my friend, she was an artist, and she drew a whole bunch of different types of Death Note like animation. At the time, she would give them to me, and I didn't end up watching the anime until like actually a few years ago, but I liked it. My fiance liked it, which is interesting for him because he doesn't normally like anime. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those things that it's a pretty interesting storyline, unique, and it does, definitely keep your attention.
Somehow you fell asleep on Death Note. I watched
The
Dragon Ball
live
Z,
action, yeah.
the live action. I watched Dragon Ball Z Evolution action movie. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And I rented that and I fell asleep. I remember that. I fell asleep during that. Because a lot of like to me, like a lot of anime stuff doesn't really translate well when it goes to live action. It's a really difficult thing to do. What are some of the things that you've seen this summer that really caught your fancy? I know you said you saw Nope. So, but anything else you've seen this summer that you really liked? You want to talk about?
Yeah, I watched the 355. It had Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, it came out earlier this year, either earlier this year or late last year, but
Mm-hmm.
I watched it when it came out on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And I did actually enjoy it pretty good. Lots of action and combat scenes, and um, it was a lot of, I guess, governmental kind of conspiracy, a little bit, situations happening. And there was this, I think it was a flash drive that had this program that this guy made these algorithms that could essentially tap into, anything anywhere. And um I think they used it to like harness weaponry too. So, you know,
Okay.
wound up in the wrong hands, it could wreak havoc essentially. But it was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Okay. I do remember seeing the trailer that I think also Sebastian Stan is in that too, right? Who played Winter Soldier and
Um,
Captain America.
yeah, something like
I
that.
remember it's like each female was like from a different area of the world. Like,
Yeah.
Lupita. I'm assuming she's from Africa. No, or no, she's from America. Well, I can't.
I think they didn't specify the location that she was supposed to be from, but
Okay.
basically her character was in like this, I guess upper ranking either military or government official type role, and she had been trying to move away from it, but the situation, like the plot of the film, drew her back in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's because Lupita was in it, and I think actress. I can't
Penelope
remember.
Cruz, I
Penelope
can't.
Cruz. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
she's in it too. there's this movie back in the day called Gothica, and like there's
Mhm.
this part me and my friends always make fun of because she's in it, and there's this part where she says he kept on barking me. Anyway, we always thought that was hilarious. But yeah, Nanny, what did you ever see Nope?
Yet,
Okay.
not yet. I haven't. I do plan to watch it though pretty soon.
Okay, so we're going to give you the lowdown, but it's going to be non-spoilers. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right,
we
right.
don't want to spoil it for you.
All right.
Um, of course, this is Jordan Peele's third film. Okay, and it actually made my list of honorable mentions, not necessarily my top three, but I'll say this: it's a movie. Now, this is not even spoilers because like it's given away in the trailer. It's about UFOs. Okay, but it's a little twist to it, But all of his films are never just what's on the surface level of the films. There's always like some kind of hidden meaning or something, As far as I'm concerned, as far as his movies, it goes like this. As far as my favorite ones, I liked Us, then Get Out, then Nope. That's how it was for me. Most people are like, okay, Get Out's number one. For me, it was Us first because Us is like when you watch Us is like layered. I mean, it is a layered movie. Get Out is too, but Get Out is pretty much what you see is what you get. Then to make well, Nope, but I thought Nope was good. What did you think of Nope, Vanessa?
Yeah. I thought Nope was good. I feel like I need to watch it again though,
Oh
because
yeah.
I don't necessarily know where it stands in the rankings as of yet, just because of the fact that it was drastically different from Us and Get Out. Like
Mhm.
when I sat down to watch it in the theater, I was expecting it to be on the more scary side because that was, what he had for us before.
Right,
But
right.
honestly, it was not a horror film to me. It was more of an adventure film.
Yeah. It felt like, and I'm really probably saying what a lot of people are saying already. It feels like a mixture of Jaws, a mixture of almost like a Twilight Zone type of movie, you know.
Yeah, I can
But
I can see that Twilight Zone feel to it,
yeah,
definitely.
but I feel like I can appreciate what he's doing because like he's really doing something with each movie he's done. It's never, like I said, it's never just what's on the surface of what you see. It's always some hidden stuff underneath. I know you haven't seen the movie, but what do you think about Jordan Peele and what he's doing?
I do enjoy Jordan Peele's feel on things. So so far, all I've seen has been Get Out. I have not even touched Us just yet. So
Oh, you got to watch
just
it.
off of the sheer strength of what I've seen in Get Out,
Mm-hmm.
I already know Jordan Peele's uh, films come with a punch to me. It comes with a nice punch, and in most cases, it can be a bit subtle if you're not paying close enough attention to it.
Yeah.
Um, so there are some parts of that that can sneak up on you, all while talking about some of the very real things that have happened in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. And he, I've kind of like admired the fact that he's not afraid to go there, whereas some directors would be. He's
Yeah.
actually he said he said this in he's really brave for saying it, but he said he's not going to have any lead white actors in his film, and I think that's good because, like, I mean, to be honest, you know, a lot of these mainstream movies have lead white. It's been like this for years. And he said, "Hey, look, man, if I'm going to direct something, I want to show, minorities and black people that they can that they can be leads in movies." And I think that's fantastic. But I'm not trying to make this a Jordan Peele hour. I'm just saying, I admire what he's doing. Um, there's another movie I don't that's in my honorable mentions. Okay, here's my honorable mentions. Okay, so it was Elvis, which was Elvis biopic, which was with Tom Hanks and Austin Butler, and that was good. Um, that was a good movie. I thought Tom Hanks, of course, he always kills it. Austin Butler was fantastic. I felt like it just dragged on a little too long. That was my only gripe with it. Nope, we just talked about. But there's this other movie called The Black Phone, which has Ethan Hawke in it, and it takes place in the 70s. Have you guys seen the trailer for this movie?
I think I've seen
No.
the trailer for it, but I don't remember too much from it because I only saw it like maybe once.
Okay, it's nifty because what it is, it takes place in the 70s, and there's these two young people. I cannot remember the names of the characters, but they live in an abusive household, and his brother and sister. And in the neighborhood, there's this so-called kidnapper called the Nabber, played by Ethan Hawke. He kidnaps kids, and this place takes place in the 70s. No cell phones, no internet, no nothing. And it kind of reminds me of it if it met the Sixth Sense, because there's some supernatural elements in there too. Because the sister, when her brother gets kidnapped, her sister has like premonitions. She has
A
premonitional powers.
premonition.
Mm-hmm. And it's really good, man. I not to me, not a lot of people talked about it, but it's really good. It's not too long. It's Ethan Hawke always brings it. I've always been a fan of Ethan Hawke since Training Day. So yeah, that's a movie that you guys might want to check out too. Um,
Training
so
day.
well, training day, of course, but also like the Black Phone. Like I said, it should be. It's not even in theaters anymore, so it should be on streaming probably within the next 2 months. My top three movies of the summer, though, might surprise people because I've always, first of all, this summer has been so much better than it's been for the past 2 years because of COVID and things like that. But my top three movies are Where the Craw. I just recently saw Where the Crawdads Sing, which is based off of a book. It all takes place in North Carolina, and she's framed for a murder that she didn't commit because she's like this really quiet, introverted girl who lives in the marshes, and it's really good, man. I really related to it because I was raised in North Carolina, and some of the cities that they were shouting out, those were I was like, okay, I know that place. Did you guys ever see that one? Or do you know?
No,
Have you
I
seen?
haven't. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, it's definitely worth checking out. Like I say, like if you don't want to pay a lot of money, like it's worth definitely worth the price of a matinee. Then Top Gun Maverick, which is Tom Cruise's big movie. You know, everybody was talking about it. You know, first of all, let me say that movie is supposed to come out 2 years ago, but because of COVID, it got delayed. And I was like, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, okay, really, Top Gun, another Top Gun, but man. I was really surprised by it. And mind you, I never watched the first Top Gun. I just watched it on the strength of a lot of these reviewers saying it's so good. So I watched it and I mean, it's just, it reminds me of some of the old movies that you used to watch where it's like, it's not totally dependent on special effects. It's just a good movie. You know, Miles Teller's in it, Tom Cruise. So yeah, did you guys get a chance to see that one or no?
Not
So
me.
I've seen the original, but that's as far as it went.
Okay.
Honestly, I I don't know. I think it kind of got ruined for me because one of
Mm,
my teachers in high school was obsessed with the movie, and he literally would make every single one of his classes watch it at least once. So everybody kind of made this joke about it. Oh, did you watch Top Gun yet? Did you watch? And like I was like, man, I mean, because growing up, it was kind of one of those things that my parents was into, so they watched it a lot and I kind of avoided it. And then, this teacher kind of, forces it down your throat, and I don't know, it just got kind of jaded for me, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I felt the same way. That's how, to this day I have not seen the first one, but the second one is great, man. I think it's good for like if you don't even need to watch the first one to be honest with you because there's so many flashbacks or whatever, and so like you'll get the gist of what's going on. But it's just a good feel good movie, man. My number one pick for the summer was Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a movie that directed by the Daniels. It has Michelle Yeoh. It has Jonathan Key Kwan. It's just at the center of the movie. It's a family film, and it's fantastic. Like to me, I've seen it twice. They actually re-released it in the theaters recently. I might watch it again. It to me, it's my Matrix. I know you've seen it, Vanessa, but real quick, Nanyale, have you seen this movie or have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. I have not sat down to watch as of
You gotta
yet.
watch it. I promise
I
you, you're gonna love
definitely
it.
plan to. Just hearing a whole list of movies you've named off, I'm just etching them in my brain as we speak to
Yeah,
go watch them.
do it, man. Because like, dude, that movie, man. It's just like this. It's this. The central part of it is about Michelle Yeoh. She owns a laundromat. Her marriage is crumbling. All her she's about to be audited by the IRS, and all of a sudden it just changes into a totally different movie. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it has a lot to do with like the multiverse and the choices that you make in life and how like you shouldn't necessarily regret not making those choices and live in the now. It's beautiful. What did you think of the movie, Vanessa? I know you've seen it. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's probably number one for the summer. It felt so out of nowhere, and I kind of love that about it because so much people are in agreement about the fact that movies nowadays are a whole bunch of repeats and there's hardly any original ideas and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And this one just, it kind of really just blows you away with all of the originality and, even some ridiculousness here and there. But
Super ridiculous.
um, yeah, like my favorite scene, it doesn't give away the movie, but my favorite scene was when they're, the couple, the main characters,
Right.
um, they're sitting like looking at each other, and then there's those colored lights um kind of strobing across their faces while they're, talking to each other. That was my favorite scene because it sort of, I don't know, it was just so emotive and like kind of portrayed how you look at someone that you really love and like the light that you see them in. And it was
Mm.
just like such a gorgeous, like meaningful scene. I feel like with, I don't know, romance or love stories or whatever, they don't really do that. They don't have that vibe. It's just, these two people are gonna fall in love and they're gonna be together. It's very rare anymore that there's any either love story or like rom-com, that kind of thing, that actually has a scene that gives you the idea of what that type of relationship really feels like.
Right. I think I know what part you're talking about. Yeah, it's not a tip like you said. It seemed like it came out of nowhere. I mean, when I first saw the trailer, it was a little small thing that said I have to see this movie. And it's the part where she's kind of like going to going to this multiverse part of her where she's like a chef, right? And she's chopping up the stuff and she looks tired. And I said, I need to see that movie because I at my regular job, I just feel exhausted sometimes, like, cause I've been through this before. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've lived multiple lives through each job that I've had. And so I can relate to her so much. And not only that, it's just like, it's a movie that, like I said, Jonathan Key Kwan, who has not been on the big screen in 20 years, who was in Goonies, here is in this movie. But it's like I said, at the central part of this movie, beyond all of the craziness, it's about family. It's about living in the now. Living in like appreciating what you have. What's so funny is, as an audience member, the central character doesn't really like her life. But to me, if it didn't have the craziness around it, I could totally watch a movie with her just being in a laundromat doing her everyday things because I can appreciate the simplicity of that. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, one of my favorite movie of the summer. It's on DVD now. You can get a physical copy. It's back in theaters, so I suggest everybody watch it. I actually did a podcast with Denise, a Monday Cinema Club, and we talk all about it as well. So I can't say enough good things about those movies. Completely forgettable movies though this summer for me, and I hate to say it because I'm an MCU junkie. Thor: Love and Thunder and Lightyear, which was the Pixar movie. I don't know what's really going on with Pixar, but don't sorry. Turning Red was great, but Lightyear was just like, why? It was decent. It just wasn't what I'm used to as far as Pixar is concerned. Thor: Love and Thunder was silly. I was looking at my phone sometimes. I wasn't feeling it, man, at all. Like there's really I don't like to say that about the MCU because I love the MCU for the past 12 years, but I can't say that I love that movie. But yeah, what about you guys? Any movies that you were anything that you watched that you were like, okay, I'm a little disappointed in?
Actually, I have a nice little list of them,
Okay.
so it might take us a while.
Well, just give me like three, like top three things that you were totally disappointed in.
Ooh, this is gonna be a hard one. but there was one where it's called Spree. The movie Spree.
Free?
Spree.
Free?
No, Spree. You
Okay.
would have to check it out. It's almost like it's the equivalent of like a Uber and Lyft driver. So he's trying to he's trying to go viral and
Okay.
to get there. So he goes on a spree.
Like a killing spree or?
Yeah. Like,
wow, okay.
unaliving, as they should say. Unaliving.
Oh, sorry. That's right. Unaliving. What is that all about anyway?
Unaliving.
Okay.
I was taking whole naps in between.
What? That comes with adulting, man. That's like in general, I've napped so many times. Like I napped in Nope a little bit, but I had to wake myself up. Okay.
There's an anime that I've been watching called Way of the House Husband. Very hilarious. I just couldn't do the way the animation was in it.
Way of the House Husband, okay.
So it's a former Yakuza boss. You know, he retired and went MIA to be a house husband for his career wife. And it would just show everyday little things that he would do. But as he did these everyday things, he made references to a lot of the things he did in his past.
Okay.
So we'll say things such as, he said he had to get the stains out and their neighbors would think like actual, you know, bad things like his wife would do it to him. But lo and behold, he's talking about actually getting a stain out of a shirt because his wife spilled apple juice on her favorite blouse.
Okay. Vanessa, you heard of this thing?
I haven't heard of this one though.
Okay.
Well, it's on Netflix. So
okay.
Check on Netflix. It's Way of the House Husband. Not that live action stuff, the actual anime. It's hilarious.
Okay.
It really is hilarious. It was something about that animation I couldn't do.
Okay.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, wait, I'm gonna have to write that down. What about another one? What's something else you were kind of disappointed in?
There is a show on Netflix, and they made a remake of this. It's called Bastard. Like there is this mage who lived on and on and on and on and on, but he was sealed away for some time. But the seal broke, and because he was being held within a little boy's body. The seal broke. So here comes this fully grown man, demon, mage thing. And he's battling other mages and saving the kingdom. But he's also falling in love with the child sitter, his former student / child / lover. It's a mess. It's like a whole Jerry Springer episode rolled into one.
Wow. So I gotta give some of these animes some credit, man, because they don't mind going beyond the typical. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's one called Food Wars. Have you heard of this one?
Oh, I love Food Wars.
Me too. It's just all about food. And it's great.
Oh, yes, all about food, but if the food's really good, they explode out of their clothes.
Mm-hmm. It's great. What about you, Vanessa?
Well, I didn't see it, but how you mentioned Lightyear, I feel like that was so unnecessary. Like how you said why. I don't understand that either. They could have just left it alone and it would have been totally fine.
Dude.
They never leave it alone.
Right? And then
So bad.
in terms of something that didn't disappoint me, it wasn't something I watched this summer, but a few years back, there was this anime that they had put on Netflix. I don't know if it was a Netflix anime, but it was called The Devil is a Part-Timer. And that one is hilarious.
Okay, the devil is a part-timer. What is this about?
Um, if I remember correctly, the main character, it's either actually the devil or some kind of like supreme demon that winds up on Earth somehow and takes this job at like a basically like a McDonald's. And
I've heard
he
of that. I've heard of that.
okay,
Okay, yeah.
it's it's just beyond hilarious.
Okay. It's on Netflix. Okay, I'm definitely going to see that. I've heard of that, and I can't remember exactly where I've heard of that. But I'm as soon as you said he worked at a McDonald's, because I know I worked at a McDonald's. I can tell you some stories. Yes, I need to see that. I need to see it. But let me say real quick too. Like I know I was kind of dissing the MCU a little bit, but I'll say that as far as television is concerned, because they got a lot of great Disney Plus stuff. Mrs. Marvel was fantastic. You don't even really, to me, if you never really watched the MCU like that or any of the movies, you could watch that and still enjoy it. Expect to like that, because when I watched the trailers, I was like, okay, it kind of reminds me of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is a fantastic movie. And I was like, it looks, it's kind of like I'm not in the demographic, you know what I'm saying? But I loved it. I loved it. Pakistani culture, action. It's kind of cutesy. It's great. The Summer I Turned Pretty is like a romantic thing where it's like this girl, and it's from the same person. They're based off of books. It's from the same author, Jenny Han, who always has a Central Asian character as her lead, which is great. She this girl named Bella. She's kind of coming to her own. She's visiting her friends at a summer home, at a summer house, and the two brothers that have been her best friends forever are starting to kind of fall for her at the same time. I didn't think I like it, but I loved it, man. I was sitting there watching, like, like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen. It's a little cheesy or whatever, but I loved it. Have any like events, summer highlights of summer that you guys did? I know Nanyale, of course, congratulations, you got your teaching gig and you're doing your thing, and then also Vanessa, you're doing your thing with the Huskies, and any summer highlights? Did you go on any trips? Did you drink any cool
I
drinks?
took part, of course, with my job because I do work in a school. But my school also partners with what's called the African American Male Wellness Walk. So that takes place every year in various cities and such as
Okay.
well. So we just had ours here about a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a huge turnout as usual, but along with that, we have managed to get a lot of people screened for various health conditions, of course, which ultimately saved their lives. So I have to say that was very, I would have to say that was something I really enjoyed because,
Cool.
aside from all the families and such that was there, they, it was something that ultimately helped save a lot of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it all comes from early detection. So we had that, and I have to say it was really fun to do the countdown as they're getting ready to go on their walk, run, bike spree there.
Nice.
Yeah, and just to watch them take off from the starting line and then come back, for their finish. And I have to say I was really happy to see it was a little guy. He had to be maybe 5 or 6. He managed to be like second or third in place.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Just a little
Good for
guy.
him.
Yes.
Excellent. I love to hear stuff like that, especially like you said, for a good cause like that. Um, Vanessa, every time I talk to you, you're traveling. You're just like the traveling Wilburys. What kind of adventures been on? You've been on this summer?
Um, Not a whole lot. I was in New York for like a day and then came back. My fiance had to make a delivery all the way out to Montana.
Wow.
We had a litter that was just born in June, and so I had to stay and keep track of the litter while he delivered the prior litter that we had out there. And
Whoa.
then yeah, so we had his grandma helping watch the litter that we just had for like a day or so while we went up to New York to finish the deliveries. And then I stopped at my mom's house in Virginia and then came back to Tennessee. And then I was in Atlanta the other day. We had to do some shopping there because Atlanta has all the things and Tennessee is a little behind. But like aside from that, I mean, like the traveling thing wasn't even that big of a deal for me. Um, I mean, we went over to West Virginia for a little bit to see some of my fiance's family too. But the biggest highlight, I think, I can't remember if this is technically summer or not, but it was late May, and I
I
got to
consider that
see.
summer, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I got to see Cruella. They are these Pakistani sisters that do EDM.
Okay.
So they are really talented. They sing, they produce, and all of that good stuff. And it was such a fun time. It was my first time seeing them after like over a decade of being a fan. So it was
Nice.
very, yeah, it was very epic for me to be able to see them for the first time. And um, yeah, they put on an awesome show. And like even the DJs that came on before them were really good too. I clocked like I think it was like 18,000 steps that night because we were moving around so much. It was a lot of fun. I would totally do it again.
Oh wow, that sounds great, man. That's actually like similar to an experience that I had where I've been a Backstreet Boys fan forever, and I
Yeah.
had this like my first concert. I went to their concert, and it was like you got to understand, like I've really been a fan of theirs since like
Yeah.
90 93. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that was my first concert in like 20 years of any
Wow.
concert, and so like I went out there. I had good seats. I was able to afford good seats, and it was great, man. I was singing along with the songs, and I got the chance to talk to a few people too. So it was overall just a great experience. To interview some cool people on my podcast, including you
Yeah.
guys. So it's just been a decent summer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the older that you get, the more you appreciate the small things. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
agree.
Or absolutely, they guys have a common link. You and Nanio, both you guys wearing black hoodies, right? Both you guys love anime.
Yeah.
Nanio, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. A question for you guys, and Nanio, this is up your alley. So, because Nanio, you're and I think we all are just advocates for mental health, and with everything going on in the world, especially recently with this monkeypox thing, which is creepy, crazy. What are you guys doing for your mental health? I'm telling you, man. I'm like, dude, if it ain't one thing, it's another.
So, personally, of course, I'm not wearing makeup right now. I typically, aside from the standard self care, I try to play around with my makeup as much as possible. One, you know, for the simple fact that hey, if I get a new shade of eyeshadow, liner, lipstick, contour, or whatever, I typically play around with it just to see how it's going to look overall.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried different hairstyles. Of course, it's time to get a new hairstyle for now. Different earrings, even
Mm-hmm.
just something as simple as buying myself a nice a cup of coffee. It can be
Yeah.
anything. So I try to factor in different things for my own mental health. So I give myself enough grace, of course, every day. I learn to not be so hard on myself when I can't reach a certain goal.
Right.
Or just, as a parent, I can say that for sure. As
Yes.
a parent, when you're dealing with your own mental state and your parenting, it can be trying. So one of the biggest things is, you know, doing myself a great favor by showing myself and my kids patience and grace. So I had to
Yeah.
learn, hey, some things don't require you to scream like a banshee.
Right.
You have to take a deep breath and just say it calmly. I promise they'll understand, and it'll just make your life, their lives, and your health much easier and better to deal with,
Absolutely.
I should say.
And your two kids are fantastic. I haven't met them, but I mean, every time you talk about them and I hear them in the background, they're just really good kids.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. But what about you, Vanessa? What are you doing to stay sane in this crazy, crazy world?
Yeah, I feel like it kind of goes along with what you mentioned, Danielle, about not being too hard on yourself. Like, it might not even necessarily be a goal, but maybe just some small chore or something that you told yourself that you were going to do, and, you know, you just aren't up to it in that moment. A lot of people say, don't procrastinate. And that's true too, but I think you shouldn't, just be having some sort of breakdown over not being able to get a load of laundry done or something like that.
Right.
So, that's one of the things. And then, I'm working on getting into a house, and I've been trying to stockpile here and there decorations.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so not um having to rush to get everything at the same time, right when we get in the house,
Mm,
and, just pick things here and there as I'm going. And it's kind of more fun that way. Like, I'll just see something and um, just think, oh, that would be good for the, whatever in the house. And it gives you something to look forward to.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's nice too.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just go off what you said, just to have something to look forward to, because like I feel like you have to do that, because I look at it like when I was a kid, I always like would always put like juice in the freezer and wait for it to freeze up. And like I would always as a kid, I would go back and forth. Is it frozen yet? Nope, it ain't frozen. And then like I forget all about it. The next day in school, I'd be in the middle of class. I'm like, hold on, it's frozen now. I'd be all excited. I'm like, ooh. So I look at that as my freeze cup moment. You got to have those freeze cup moments in life where like you have to have something every day to look forward to. If it's just small, like Danielle says, having that cup of coffee, or you're saying like you have having that small thing to build towards those bigger goals, like having a house. And congratulations, on getting the house. That's a big deal. You know,
Thank,
Congrats.
thank
yeah,
you.
man. So yeah, absolutely, man. I really dig what you guys are saying. So real quick, how can people reach you if they want to reach you on your Instagrams or what have you? Nanny?
So, so I can be reached on Instagram, of course, um, by the name Nanyale, which is my government name. Um, and of course on Facebook under Nanyale as well.
Okay.
But of course, you can also follow my YouTube channel. It's titled Reine Savage Media. So
Rain
I
Savage.
a lot of things from mental health and trauma healing.
Mhm.
So um, And I even threw in a couple little things like a little makeup video here and there, um, little robotic things, nice little combination of
No, don't
things.
forget your TikTok too.
Oh yes, my TikTok. My TikTok is Reine Savage Media as well.
Yes. How do you spell Reine? Reine Savage
R
Media.
so it's Reine.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And Vanessa, how can people reach you if they want to reach you?
So I am on Instagram at _ Vanessa Vendetta _
Nice. And also, occasionally we can see you on Dante's show, which is called Monday Cinema Club, which is usually at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Because when's the last time you were up there?
I think Selena, when they
Right.
had been reviewing Selena, I think I might be mistaken, but yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thanks again, guys. For just coming on, taking your time to do the show today, and I appreciate both of you guys. Because I know you guys are busy, and I hope to probably do something again in the future.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
For sure.
Yes,
Yeah,
thanks.
man.